Clark here with CMP RV. We're going to winterize today. Got a few tools that we need to be able to do that. We're going to blow it out. We're not going to use any of our pink antifreeze except to put in P-traps at the end. So this is my blowout valve. It's made by Valterra. I bought this at a local place here in San Antonio, I just keep it in the thing to keep it stored and keep it clean. But you do need one of these if you're going to try to use the blowout method instead of putting pink antifreeze in throughout your RV. It's going to go onto the freshwater inlet, city water inlet. I've got my compressor right down here. I'm going to use it, blow out the lines. I'm also going to drain my hot water heater. And the very first step in this process is to open up one of the lines, probably the farthest away, which is in our case the sink in the kitchen. We're going to open it up, and then I'm going to open these two low water drain points that are right here. Like I said, we're just going to open this up. Notice it's still got some pressure on it. Not very much. It's going to put a little bit of fresh water into the holding tank, but not enough to worry about. Before I open these freshwater drains, I'm going to crawl underneath the RV and I'm going to open the drain that you can see right straight ahead there. It's got the blue pipe on it. That particular drain is the drain for the ice maker line, which runs right here on this RV. It's not insulated, so that particular line, if you happen to use your RV in the winter, probably needs to be drained anyway, and this is how we go about doing it. So I'm going to crawl up underneath there and drain this.
You want an insulate pad?
No. There's not much water in this, but what we want to do is make sure we get all the water out. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside, and under the sink is the valve that isolates this line. Right up here is the ice maker line. So I'm just turning it off. It just feeds off the cold water line coming into the coach. Just turned it off right now. So that means that no water will go into this line anymore going down to the ice maker. This is the feed line coming to the cold water side of the sink. This is the stove. There's another valve on some coaches behind this wall here, but I've never bothered with it because what I'm going to do is blow out the lines inside the fridge. When we get ready to blow out the lines in the fridge, we want to make sure this coiled tubing right here gets emptied completely of water. We'll drain the filter out of the fridge so that we make sure that there's no water in it as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open these low water drain points. You notice that not a whole lot of water is coming out, and that's one of the problems with the low water drain points sometimes, is that not everything does come out of it. So Peggy's going to go in now and open the faucet at the sink in the bathroom. We'll see how much more water we get out from that.
Hot or cold?
Both of them. Let's put it in the middle. And notice when she opened it that we got a fair amount of cold water, not so much hot. And there goes the hot. Just took a little delayed reaction. So what we're trying to do again is drain as much water out as we can. Next step is going to go ahead and drain the water heater. This is a 1 1/16 inch socket. This is something you should do. I know you saw how milky that water was when it first came out. This is something you should do periodically, whether you are winterizing or not. just to get the buildup of minerals out of your water system. Also look at the anode rod. Again, this one's still got some life in it, but it has kind of sacrificed itself. You can see all the pitting. We've got a couple of spares. We always carry a spare with us, and may replace it in the spring. You probably noticed, but I did open the pressure relief valve at the top, which just lets the water drain out more quickly. So what I'm doing right now is I just use a little siphon hose to get the last of the water out of the water heater. You don't have to do this necessarily, because if it freezes, there's probably enough room in there for the water to expand. It's not like it's under pressure anymore. But I find that this just helps drain the last of it out fairly quickly, get some of the minerals out of the bottom of it that won't otherwise come out. And it's just a little short piece of tubing that you'd use for a sprinkler system. I've installed my blowout plug into the city water connection. Water heater bypass off initially. We're going to blow any of that excess water into the tank. Once we've done that, we're going to turn the water heater bypass on so that we can blow out the rest of the coach. I'm also going to set the pressure through this airline so that it's down to 50 psi. That way we don't overpressurize our water lines in the coach. I have my hose. I've got the pressure regulator set just under 50. I'm getting ready to pressurize, and Peggy's going to drain the cold water side in the kitchen right now. Okay, go ahead. Notice I switched the water heater bypass on now, so it's actually pressurizing. I was trying to blow out the last of that water. All right, we'll walk in and see what she's got. She's moving on to the bathroom sink. She's done the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, the shower, the toilet, and don't forget your washer dryer. She's now going to go back and do hot water for all those same things. So we're going to start over again. Reinstalling the anode rod. I'm not just going to put it in there finger tight. Make sure my valve here is closed. The next thing that we're going to do, so we got to go blow the fridge out. I showed you that just a few minutes ago, the coil that we need to get all the water out. The line should be clear all the way, so I'm going to go open the valve back under the sink, and at that point we'll just be blowing air up through, and we'll be blowing the water out of the inside of the fridge so that nothing inside the fridge has water. I'm watching the tubing coil right over here to see, you can see the water running through it, and the fact that there's not very much water left in it now. And I got to go repressurize the system again. All right, so I took the water filter out and I shook it out to make sure there was no residual water in there. I put it back in. We make sure that most of the water is out of this coil tubing. That's what gives you your cold water coming out of the dispenser. There's very little water left in that now, and it's not against any of the hard plastic parts. It's going to be inside the fridge. Next item is to go turn the fridge off. I'm going to do that by turning both the inverter and the circuit breaker for the inverter circuit off, because we're currently plugged into shore power. That'll turn the fridge off completely. You'll notice that it says that it's off right now, but still got the lights on, and there's a blower running down in the bottom. Again, if you've never done this before, to turn the fridge off, you press both the fridge and freezer buttons at the same time. It'll switch to off. When you go to turn it back on, just press either the fridge or freezer. It'll come on, and you can set your temperature points based on the display. We're back at the convenience center. So the next thing that needs to be done is we're going to connect our shower, external shower, make sure that that is blown out. The last water is in, any water that's in there is blown out. So the next thing we'll do is we'll switch the power flush from normal flow to fill. That'll blow the water that's in the line between here and my tank, my freshwater tank. It'll blow that water out as well. I still have to drain the freshwater tank, and I'll do that here in just a few minutes as well. Then I'm going to put it on the tank flush and make sure that I blow the tank flush out as well, so that it blows air through and all that goes into the black tank. And then last thing I'm going to do is go to the freeze guard winterizing system, switch it on to winterize, and blow air through that. I want to make sure that I've gotten all the water that's caught back here behind this area completely blown out, and we'll do that through the drains. Mentioned earlier, still need to drain the freshwater tank, so we're doing that now. And once we do that, we'll leave this valve partially open, just in the event that any water gets in it. That way it can drain out as opposed to breaking the valve. Those hard plastic pieces like that valve that you see right there, those are the things that will easily get some water in them, and then when they freeze up they just crack and break, and then you end up having to replace it. Blowing air now through the tank flush valve. And as I said earlier, last step is going to be to do the freeze guard system. We've switched it over to winterize. We're pushing air in here and we're just letting it out through the cold water side. We cycle that a couple of times. We want to make sure we've gotten all the water out of the water pump, so that there's no possibility of water being in the water pump. I had Peggy turn the water pump on just to make sure there was no water lingering. I put air through again, the freeze guard system, let it blow out down here through the bottom. So I think we're done. Everything's out, and the lines are as clear as they're going to get at this point. Last thing we got to do is close out the process is pour pink antifreeze into our P-traps. We're going to put pink antifreeze in the shower drain, the sink drain, and the toilet in the bathroom. Okay, that pretty much wraps it up. We've gotten all of the lines blown down. We made sure that we got all of the areas in the convenience center. We also drained our freshwater tank. We made sure we got the tank flush. We also made sure that we got all the water that's behind the convenience center out of those hard plastic areas that might be subject to freezing. And last but not least, we did the water system through the refrigerator to make sure that we didn't leave anything there. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you someplace out on the road.